cloud. Okay, very good. So let's all of us come to a seated position just to get oriented. Take a moment to settle in. Find a way that you can sit where your back feels tall and centered. So the spinal column is lifting, the chest is open. Lift the shoulders up to get extra height in the side ribs. Roll them back, let them drop down, and turn the hands up. With the palms up, you can also have the hands in your lap. You want to be in a position where you feel comfortable and relaxed, and close your eyes. Take a moment to center into your own space. Center into your breath. Center into the shape of your body and what it's like today. Center into how you are relating and perceiving whatever is going on. We have this amazing connection through the internet now that's opening up a whole aspect of awareness and reality that is also very, very real. So how subtle can you make your attention, and yet how focused, because there's a limitless amount of detail that can start to be perceived. So as we sit here, the first area of detail and attention is inwardly. We have the blood flowing through our bodies. We have our hearts and our lungs and so much more. And then within that, there's also the fact that we can put our attention elsewhere, and the body keeps on living and moving and supporting us even without us paying attention to it. So first and foremost, find a place of honoring the body. And then honor and put attention into the fact that we have emotions and feelings and responses, that energetic shift and connection that we have with all of life, and a response to life. So check in and see where you're at right now. Feelings and emotions are very close. So you can have like the feeling of a headache, but then you can also have the pressure of anger or overstraining or tension for exam. So just check in and see how you're feeling right now. And then honor it, and honor the potential that you can have all feelings, all emotions, and all expressions of being human, because that is extensively what makes us human and multidimensional. Put your attention and notice the subtlety of your mind, the fact that you can observe a sound, can observe light and shadow. All of our senses are input systems for the world around us. So how much can you observe the world around you, even with your eyes closed? And as the sensitivity heightens to all these different places, there's a quietness that can settle in because we're becoming more and more alert and more silent in order to observe. So can we consciously be aware of this process? Be aware that it's extremely interesting to just notice without doing. And that deeper than that, there's something that's doing the noticing. So please connect in with that place. And how it is truly where we connect with all people, all things, ourselves, and the eternity of life. And that it's not tangible, it's not human, or it's not of this world. It's something you can't put your finger on. So can you be in touch with the mystery of it? And from that place, expand out and get that feeling of how much you are part of all things, all life, all people, this planet right now that's part of shutdown, dealing with insecurities and rediscovery of something new, and yet you're just yourself. And from this place, find a way or meaning to dedicate this practice to something that means something to you. Maybe just to love yourself more, to find relief from something, to discover, to be inspired, just something that is good for you, meaningful to you. Get clear about this intention. Take a deep breath in. Take this intention, place it in your heart center, and then breathing out, let everything go. And slowly open your eyes. From here, let's come on our hands and knees. We will start with the simplest forms of sun salutation and then move into the more expanded ones. So starting out by warming up the spine, knees are under the hips, our hands are under the shoulders. Spread your fingertips apart and stretch your elbows. And then from here, start by rounding your back deeply and pressing away from the floor, looking to see if you can feel the whole spinal column open. Reverse the position in the opposite direction and look forward and arch. And again, round. And arch. As you do this, start to notice how the front body's contracting, the back body's expanding, and reversing, stretching the stomach, pulling the pubic bone and hips away and the sternum forward. Opening the back body, opening the front body. Opening the back body, and opening the front body. And just to warm up the joints a little bit, rounding in this position and rocking back and forth. It's not a big rock. It's more noticing weight into the hands, weight towards the heels. Weight towards the hands, weight towards the heels. One more time like this, towards the hands, towards the heels. Come back to the middle and arch your back. Lift the chest in the same rocking movement. Back with the hips, forward over the knuckles. Back with the hips, forward over the knuckles. Back with the hips, forward over the knuckles. Just to get that sense. Notice I'm not tucking my pelvis. I'm lengthening it here. So we're starting to cultivate a sensitivity to the joints of the hips hinging separately from the lower back arching. So notice that right close to the end, the lower back wants to round as we go into full child's pose. So let's go in, lengthen the arms out, and just for a minute, settle down here, taking a deep breath in. Breathing out, letting your body get a little bit deeper. Breathing in. Breathing out, the head and forehead drop a little bit further down. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out even further down. Now lift your head, look at your hands, stretch them as far away from you as you can, and then walk the hands to one side of your mat so the opposite side is stretching those ribs out. If your left hand, that's my left hand here, is closer to the mat, take the left hip and pull it away from the hand to open up that side of the ribs. Walk the hands to the middle and to the other side. Stretch the opposite hand, take the opposite hip and stretch it out. Come back to the center and roll up to a seated position so we can start with our kneeling sun salutations. Roll the shoulders out, bring them up, and bring the hands into prayer pose. Lift the stomach up, lift the spine up, and from here forward on the hands and knees. Bend the elbows. Rest back up. Sit back towards your heels. Roll up to a sitting position. Roll the arms out, hands up. Settle in prayer. Forward. As much as you can, bring the weight forward over the hands so you start to build up the upper body strength. Press back. Roll up. Hands go out. Settle in prayer. Forward. Bend the elbows. Press up. Go back. Roll up. Hands go out. Settle in prayer. Now we'll add to this inhale. So adding breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come forward on your hands and knees. Open the knees hip width apart. Curl the toes under you. And first down dog. Pressing up and stretching back towards the heels. And just walk your legs out. So you press one heel down. Bending and stretching the legs in opposition just to loosen up the backs of the legs a little bit. Now press both heels up. Take the chest and press with the hands backwards to create more length in the upper back, more length in the spine. See if you can sustain that extra extension and start to lengthen down. Now, your aspiration is from the hands to the hips. It's a long line, and from the hips to the heel, a long line. So it's really a triangle. So if you happen to be very flexible in the shoulders, some people can go super low, and you want to be in the middle. So just for a minute, lift your chest, bend your elbows, press them out and bring them forward so you widen the shoulder blades. And now push back again and see if you can have this spiral of the arms working for you. This is more important for flexible people. If you're stiffer, just extend and stretch as much as you can, getting all of that nice length. And then lift your head, look at your hands, walk forward to the front of your mat, bend down and grab your ankles, and just for a minute, give yourselves a good stretch. So you're lengthening the legs, start to pull the kneecaps up a little bit if you can, pulling down, and then relaxing the arms. Roll yourselves up to an upright position, turn the arms out, sweep them up over your head, and bring the hands to prayer. So just stay here for a minute. I'm coming forward because I need to get the camera into full screen view so I can see you better and see myself better. And I'm adjusting a tiny bit because I know I'm standing. All right. So here we are. We're in standing position. Never mind about my head. Turn the palms out. Bring the hands out. Bring the arms into prayer. I'm turning to face the front for your sake. Stay facing the same way. Take the arms out. Just for the first time, rotate the arms out so you get a sense of this extensiveness and pull with the arms. If you're sideways, check that you're not hyper-arched. So there's a length and a control in the trunk in this position. Also check that your arms are not back, but right to the side. So front and back body are long. Now bring the arms up over your head, lift the rib cage up, Bring the hands back to prayer. So just warming up the arm positions now. You anchor the trunk, arms out, rotated, arms up. Pause for a minute in this position and lengthen the trunk, lengthen the shoulders, lengthen the elbows. Take your head right back so you can stretch your chin toward your thumbs. Bring the hands back to prayer. Arms out, palms are up. Arms up to the ceiling, palms together. Lift and lengthen. Now swan dive from here all the way out. So the hips are hinging back. Pause halfway. Can you get from your hips to your head in a straight line with your knees straight? And then lower down towards the floor. I hope your hands get to the floor, but work to keep your knees straight right now. Hands on your shins. Lift your head and chest and lengthen out so you come back to this long flat back and then lower back down. Roll up again. Rotate the hands out. Anchor the spine. Lift the arms up and lengthen. Bring the hands back to prayer. Open the arms out. Open chest. Head back, arms up. Swan dive as you go all the way out down towards the mat or the floor. Now, those of you who keep your hands on the floor, they can stay. Those of you who are not getting to the floor, just come up higher, come to whatever angle works for you. Lower down. Roll back up. Hands go out. Sweep the arms up and extend. Back to prayer. We'll add on, arms to the side, head back, arms up. Swan dive all the way out, all the way down towards the mat. Your head drops down. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down if your hands are not on the floor. Bend the knees to get to the floor. Take your right leg way back and now let the knee drop down. Just for a minute, let that hip really start to stretch out. So you allow the hip flexor to open. Straighten the knee again. Step back with both legs and go into your down dog. Work the heels away from you and extend everything out. So from your hands, check to see that your fingers are spread. Check to see that the shoulder blades are wide if you're a stretchy, flexible type. And then as much as you can, get a long, diagonal, triangular shape in your design of your own down dog. Forward into your plank. Bend the knees if you need to, or lower all the way to the floor if you are fine with that. Extend your toes. First of all, lift to serpent. Shoulders way back and broad so your upper back is activated. Lower back down. Serpent again. Now hands come to the floor. Keep the shoulders wide. Think of the elbows moving down. Lift back up to your navel area. So now we're coming into our beginning cobra. And now take the arms to straight. Some of you can have your hips on the floor or maybe not. And then extend the knees. Lift your head up to the ceiling. Lower back down to the floor. Curl the toes under you. Push back into your down dog. Adjust your feet if you need to. Press away from the floor with your hands. Lengthen your spine. Lengthen your knee, heels down, and lengthen your hips away from you. Let's take 5 breaths here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So as you do this, work on refining your position. Inhale. Exhale. And now settle into one place and just stay there for the last 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen even further back. Heels are down, arms pushing away. Now look up and shift your weight forward. Step forward with your right leg and bend your left knee down. And again, let the hip open. Allow that front part of the body to start to release a little bit. Step forward with the left foot. Let everything sink down. Nice long spine. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll back up. Palms roll out. Pull the kneecaps up. Hands up from your feet to your fingers. See if you can feel the traction and the narrowing through this line. And bring the hands back to prayer. Open the arms out again. Head back, palms up, lengthening out of the lower body. Big swan dive all the way out, all the way down towards the mat. Lower a little bit further if you can. Lift your head and chest, lengthening out. Lower back down. Take your left leg and step back with it. Just check that first the knee is straight and then bend the knee down towards the mat. Again, lunge forward. Let the hip open, let the pelvis open. Take a moment to feel the stretch in the front of the thigh. And now straighten the leg. Step back with the other leg. Press back into your down dog. Lengthen all the way out. Your arms should start to be opening. The armpits are opening. The hips are lengthening. The hamstrings are lengthening. Start to take advantage of the shifts that start to come in. Come forward to plank. Check your position. Lower to mat. Extend the toes. Serpent pose. Lower back down. Serpent again. Hands on the mat. Lift up to the navel. Check that your shoulders are rolled back if you can. And now can you lift higher? So the arms come to straight. The hips should feel heavy. Then extend the legs so you have even more openness in the full front of the body. Lift your head up. Lift your sternum up. Lower back to the mat. Curl the toes under you. Straighten the knees. Push back into your down dog. Adjust the position so you're nice and long. Again, 5 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now settle into something steady. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Press away from your hands, lengthening further into the backs of the legs. Very long traction. Lift your head, look at your hands. Step your left foot forward. Bend the right knee down. Again, let the hip open. Step forward. Straighten the legs, letting the body lengthen down. Lift your head and chest and look out. And look down. The backs of the knees may start to be opening up more, so keep checking if you can pull up your kneecaps a little bit further. Roll yourselves up to an upright position. Rotate the hands out. Sweep the arms up and extend. Bring the hands back to prayer. So now we'll do the normal Surya Namaskar A, which is a little bit less detailed. So arms out and up. Swan dive all the way down towards the mat. Lift your head and chest and extend out. Lower back down and step both legs back into down dog first. Come to plank. Bend the elbows and lower all the way down. Extend the toes and push up into up dog. So with a finishing pose, head up, lower back down. Turn the toes under. Push back up into your down dog. Extend. Step forward. Step forward. Lower the body down. Lift your head and chest. Lower back down. And roll up, taking the hands up and out over your head. Bring the hands to prayer. Again, arms up. Swan dive all the way down. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Left leg back and right leg back. Go into your down dog first. Forward to plank. Lower to the floor. Toes along. Push up into your up dog. Come back down. Curl under you. Push back into your down dog. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift your head and look forward. Step your right leg forward, your left leg forward. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll yourselves up. Hands up over your head. Bring the hands to prayer. Again, hands go up. Hands go out all the way down to the mat. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Left and right leg back to down dog. Forward to plank. Lower to the floor. Up dog. Down dog. Push back into down dog again. Extend out, reaching from your hands to your hips, to your heels. 5 breaths. Lift your head, look at your hands, step your left leg and then the right leg forward. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll up. Hands go out. Sweep the arms up, extend from your heels to your fingertips. Bring the hands to prayer. So we're going to add some variations now. Before we go into them, stretch your arms over your head. I'm turning sideways so you can see me. My hands are, I'll come kneeling down so you can see. My hands are in this position. They're hugging my ears, and I'm stretching my elbows as much as I can. I highly recommend doing a finger clasp like this. So your index fingers pressed up, it gives you more leverage into the stretch. So toes and heels are together. The pelvis is locked. And you're lifting your waist up, out of the feet. You want to make sure your feet are nicely grounded. So spread the toes for a minute and lift them and see if you can get a sense of the whole pad of the foot evenly distributed and the weight is in the middle of the heels if possible. Pull up the kneecaps and lengthen the waist. Now start bending. I'm bending to my right and pressing my hips to my left. So I'm opening up the whole side of the body as much as possible. Get a sense of being very lateral. Very often you want, most of the time people need to roll the top arm up and back and take the hip and pull it forward. So in my case, left rib back, left shoulder back, left hip forward, and then go deeper. Come back up. Fraction again. Pull the kneecaps up. Lift the toes, get them nicely organized, and let the toes go down. Pull the kneecaps again. Start going in the opposite direction. The hip is going out, and the body is bending in the opposite direction. Again, to open up. Deepening. And now, in my case, my right side is facing upwards. I'm rolling my right rib back and my right hip back. So I get myself straight to the side. This is fun to do against the wall to really get it to work. Come back. Bring the arms down. Now, I'm coming back to Utkatasana, more advanced salutations with variations. Lift the toes for a minute. Check that your weight is on your heels. Kneecaps are up. Keep the weight on the heels. Start bending. Very important to get a sense of hinging in the hips and keeping as upright as you can be. First, take the arms forward. Now turn the palms to face each other. Lift the arms up. Can you go even deeper down? Keep the weight back. Lift the chest as much as you're able to do. Tuck the tail just slightly to create length in the spine. Can you go deeper? Now hands to the floor. In this position, get as close to the thighs as you can. Slowly stretch your legs out. Lift your head and look out. Lower back down. Take your legs straight back to plank. Long body. Lower to chaturanga if you're able to. So you're hovering off the floor. Extend and lift your chest up. Curl the toes under you. Back to chaturanga. Push back into your down dog. 5 breaths here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift your head and look between your hands. Now I really am not sure what your standards are. We'll just have fun. When you look at your hands, claw your fingers into the mat. Lift your heels a bit and bend your knees. So you have this kind of springy feeling. See if you can hop your feet forward towards your hands. Straighten the legs. Lift your head and chest up. Lower back down. Now we're going back into this awkward chair pose. Bend the knees. Sweep the arms forward and up. Check how low you can get in this position. And then straighten the legs. Bring the palms together. Bring them into prayer. Just find that central place. Bend the knees, bending the hips back. How low can you go? Arms come forward, arms go up. Heavy hips going down. Lower to the floor. Lift your head and chest out. Lower back down. Step your legs back to plank. Hold the position. Bend your elbows, if you can, to chaturanga or to the floor. Take your time working your way into up dog. Lift your head and chest up. It's fine to stop at the level you're at. Curl the toes under you, lower, and push back into your down dog. Again, 5 breaths here. Lift your head and look at your hands. Notice I'm shifting forward, lifting my heels a little bit. Bend the knees and hop your feet towards your hands. Lift your head and chest. Lower back down. Bend the knees. Sweep the arms forward and up. Lower your heels a little deeper. Straighten the legs. Bring the palms together. Traction the spine up so you can get more length out of your body now. Bring the hands back to prayer. Take a moment to just center and balance your energies. Balance your right side, balance your left side. Feel the pressure between the palms. Feel the sensation in your elbows. Feel the sensation in your feet. How much can you even all these energetics out? Same thing again. Utkatasana, chair pose, coming down to a kneeling or squatting position. Check that the weight's on the heels. Check that the spine is long and the arms are reaching up as much as possible. All the way down towards the mat. Lift your head and chest and extend out. Lower back down and step your legs back to plank. Nice long position. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Hold this position and just pause here. Long breaths. Lift your head and look towards your hands. Bend your knees and jump your feet forward. Lift your head and chest. Lower back down. Bend the knees. Sweep the arms up. Awkward chair pose. Straighten the legs. Bring the palms together. Bring the hands to prayer. Last variation of this, arms back, arms down. Lift your head and chest and lengthen out. Lower back down. Step back to plank. Lower to the mat or chaturanga. Lift your head and chest and extend out. Lower down and push back into your down dog. 5 breaths. Lift your head and look between your hands. Bend your knees. Hop your feet forward. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Bend the knees and sweep the arms up. Straighten the legs. Bring the palms together. And bring the palms to prayer. And just for a minute, stand with your hands down. And find a place of being centered. Now let's go to the floor. So lower yourselves down to the floor. And starting out, let's start out with our legs in cross-legged position. And just check that you can get both sit bones on the floor, maybe move your glutes sideways and get a sense to see if you can feel your sit bones right down in the middle. If you're more advanced, right now my ankles are quite close together. Cross your legs further. In fact, this is an interesting experiment to do no matter what, where the cross is actually happening in the middle of the shin bone. So the angle is different and the feet are more angled under the knees. It's a completely different orientation into the hips, more of a pure angle that opens up to for a lot of challenges that are interesting to unravel. So lift your spine as much as you can. Place your hands on the floor and start to walk your hands forward. So you're lengthening your whole spine out. From your hips to your armpits, you want this length. So wherever you're at, that's fine. Take a breath in. Walk your hands further out. Take a breath in and walk your hands to one side. When you're in this diagonal position, have a look at your own size. You want your sternum aiming out over your knee. And usually you need to pull the inside part forward to get extra stretch. Now this will cause the hips to unbalance. So you want to take that opposite hip and ground it down. So you are pulling in two opposite directions with your intention so the body can further open out. Bring the hands back to the middle. Check that the pelvis feels grounded. Walk in the opposite direction. Stretch again the inner hand further. Check that that shoulder is going downwards so they're even. And as you reach the arms out, you ground the hips further. Come back to the center. Notice that you can go further out now as you lengthen in the joints. Come back up. Cross your feet the other way. Lift up. And again, hands come forward and down. So from your hips to your fingertips, you want as much length as your body is ready to give you. Lift your head, walk your hands, starting out now to the opposite side. So again, the inside arm is the side that's getting a serious stretch, and you want now this hip, I'm pulling it down. In my case, right arm and right hip pulling away from each other, right shoulder rolling down to create this length. Coming back to the center, walking in the opposite direction. So now left hand is reaching extra long, left hip is pulling down, and the left rib cage is rotating downwards so that I'm actually even to the floor. Coming back to the center, extending a little bit further out. Coming back up. Now extend your legs out. For Dandasana or staff pose, I'm turning sideways so you can see. If you have a strap, great. If you're super stretched out, you don't need one. But if you're stiffer, you can use a towel, a belt, or just do the best you can if you don't have one. So wrap something around your feet and lift your back up. So this whole rib cage takes a bit of work. If the hips are very tight, pop yourself up on a pillow or a book so you're higher. It'll make it a bit easier to get the spine straight. So work to get as straight a back as you possibly can from the hips all the way to the crown of the head. Just hold the position for a minute and let go with your hands and roll the shoulders back. For Dandasana or staff pose, keep this position tall. Dip your chin down towards your chest without collapsing and just hold this position. Now look forward again and press your knees down, lift the arms up. Big lift of the chest out of the hips and slowly extend forward. So if you have a strap or a towel, grab it to help you get this pull forward with the body, and then slowly, using the traction in your arms, extend it downwards towards the legs. So the whole aspiration here is to keep the body long and not collapse it down, and to get a nice stretch. It can be for some people behind the knees, hamstrings, hips, back, wherever you're feeling it, that's fine. And just hold the position for about 5 breaths. Come back up. So we stretch the back body. Now we're going to take the hands behind, just a little bit behind the hips. And first of all, let's turn the hands out so we can get a sense of the chest lifting. Eventually, the position is done this way, but if your shoulders are tight, don't want to go too far. The goal is to get this chest as open as possible. First of all, let's bend the knees, more modified version, and lift the hips up. So very important to push with the arms as much as you can to get the chest open, and press with the hips up. If you feel stable, you can let your head fall way back. So you're opening out in the throat, but the front body is being pressed very strongly upwards. The hardest part is often to get the chest open across the collarbones and the hips up. So you just work towards that as much as you can. Lower back to the floor. Now we'll take the next variation, which is the more advanced version, which is with the legs straight. So the legs are long, the chest is open. If you feel you can get more leverage this way, you can. It's your choice. Remember, the fight is, or the challenge is, I should say, is to keep this position and amplify it if you can. So roll the chest open and then lift the hips and work to get the chest up, the hips up, and the head back. And then check the breathing. Can you keep the breath calm and steady as you're doing this? Keep pressing the chest up, the hips up, relax the neck, and then come back down. From here, take your left knee and bend it up. Now, when the knee is bent up, if you notice, when I started, my hips were in a certain position, and I'm not moving my hips. So this is phase 1, but let's take it to the next level where we move the hip open. So now my foot is kind of on a diagonal in relation to my body, and this foot is pulled up as much as it's ready to come. Get your strap around your foot. Lift your body, and this is where the work comes. It's this rotation of the side of the body that you're being opened, pulling it forward again. And as you start to come forward over the leg, that side, in my case, it's my left side because I'm bending over my right leg, is pulling forward. So very strong stretch on the left side, and I'm aspiring to keep both shoulders parallel to the floor, parallel to the leg, because the inclination is to do this and open. The stretch should be very intense on the side, on this side with the knee bent. So in my case, the left side, very strong stretch down on that side if I'm working to open it up extensively. And again, 5 breaths here. Come back up. Straighten the legs out. square your own hips. I'm going to turn a little bit this way. Start with your hips square and unmoving and bend the knee. So wherever it goes, wherever the knee is, it goes. Now, I'm taking this knee, the bent knee, my right knee, and I'm turning it. So my whole trunk has shifted because my pelvis has shifted. From here, rotating back towards the straight leg. Get your strap or your towel, or if you're very advanced and flexible, you work without. And use the leverage to pull forward. If you're holding your foot, that's what you use to get this spiral happening. Big lift. So the more you can lift, the more movement you will get. And then working your hands, you start stretching forward. Now it's my right side that's getting a huge stretch, and I'm focusing extensively and keeping both shoulders and chest even to the floor and sustaining length as I go down. So you find the place that you're ready to go to. And again, just holding the tension and the alignment and the details, 5 breaths. Come back up, stretch your legs, bounce your knees up and down. Going into a twist, I'll turn this way, legs along, spine is up, bend one knee, and bring it in. Actually, I'll turn this way because we're going to do the open one. So you want the strap or the towel draped around. Bring this hand, the hand of the bent knee, my right knee, my right hand, lift it. Even if the bottom comes up, and use the opposite hand to get as much of a forward reach as your body's ready to give you. If you can get your shoulder right in front of the knee, that's awesome. But even if you're here, that's totally fine. You turn the hand, rotating all the way from the shoulder. Notice that my whole shoulder, my deltoid, is actually moving way inwards. And then I wrap around. If you have a strap and you're stiff, get that strap so you can take the other hand and find it. So maybe you're here. That's fine. The more flexible people, maybe you're able to hold your own hand. Once you find the position that you're ready to be in, how much can you work the chest up and then use the knee and the position to work to get the pull and openness in the chest? And again, 5 breaths. Come back, stretch your legs out, and other side. So you bend the knee, bring it up. I'm bending my left knee, my right hand comes behind. I'm taking my left arm and I'm stretching it as far forward as I can get it, turning the arm in. So big rotation from the shoulder. This side is tighter for me, so I'm going to work with the strap. So grab the strap with a towel. So you're holding something with both hands, either your own wrist or some towel. Lift your chest as best you can and use the knee to help get the twist. And if you want to, add your head to this. So you're basically wringing out the tissue in your own body. And you're starting to encourage the joints to bend to capacity. And you're breaking up a lot of historical tension that can accumulate. We all accumulate tightness, resistance, and we want to be able to start to open all of that up. And then come back, extend the legs out, and let's bend both knees up. So Some of us will have the knees flopping to the floor and some of us won't. It doesn't really matter. You want both hips on the ground, soles of the feet. We want to find where the body is tight. So if you're looking at me, my left hip is considerably tighter right now. So this knee is up, this knee is down. My focus is, can I stay in the middle and get in touch with whatever's tight in order to open it? So grab your feet. If you can't grab your feet because you collapse, put your hands behind you and lift your back as much as you can. You want as much lift in the spinal column as possible. And then can you find and pay attention to what's tight and widen the knees? So it's not just pushing the knees down, it's actually energetically moving out to create more spaciousness in the inner groins and let them open as much as possible. Then bring the feet even further in. I think most of you left are loose. Big lift, and then start pulling your forehead towards the floor. Some of you may get to the floor, some of you may not. You can use the knees to press the shin bones out. Very good. Come back up, bring the knees in, and come onto your knees so you're in a kneeling position, just to work into the wrists and hands. So because we're a computer culture and probably more in the computer these days, very important to keep the hands open and stretched out. They're like the extension of our nervous system. So from here, whoa, I have to make sure I'm on the camera. You want to bring the fingers pointing back, press the heel of the hand down. From this position, curl the wrist up to see how long you can keep your fingers down, and then slowly peel the hands up. Turn the palms to face. Now my palms are facing down. Bend the elbows if you're stiff and place a whole hand flat on the floor. And stretch the arms out and slowly peel back. I'm going to turn sideways now, so we have a few other pointers to look at. Fingers and palms pressed away. If you're stiff, your hand should be close to you. If you're more loose, you can have the hands further away. When you're further away, the longer you can keep your heel of the hand on the floor, the more you'll open up the tissue in there. Now, everybody get the fingers as wide apart as you can. As you go back, press the tips of the fingers into the mat, and then slowly lift up, see if you can get the knuckles to stay down, and spread your thumbs as far away as you can. So you open up all that webbing between the fingers and peel back. Hands go the opposite way, bend in, spread your fingers wide for a minute. Again, stiff people more here, loose people more here, and straight. If you can't. If you can't, that's fine. You're getting a stretch. Now curl the fingers in as though you're trying to make a fist. Straighten and stretch the fingers. Curl the fingers in. Stretch. Curl the fingers in and stretch. And then peel through. And sit. And just one final thing for the feet. Curl the toes under. Check that your big toes are touching, your bunion joint is touching, and your heels are touching, and your knees are touching. And then keeping that pressure together. My heels come apart, but I'm attempting to keep them together. Sit into the heel so it opens up the arch of the foot. And then come back. Now I'll turn with my back so I can demonstrate. The heels were together for this one, and the little toes are off the floor. Now, get the heels out enough to make sure your little toe is being bent. It's a very important channel of energy and nerve flow, and if it's not activated, it gets atrophied. So we want to open up this little toe bend. The heels have to be out and sit back again wherever you're ready to sit. So we stretch the toes out as well. And then come back and lie down on your back, and we'll settle into Shavasana. So to start, lie on your back and bend your knees in. When your knees are in, it's easiest to get the lower back nicely stabilized and grounded. And then put your feet on the floor. If for some of you, if you feel your head is up, if you prefer a pillow under your head, that's fine. Now, roll the shoulders blades under and down so that the arms are out. Set them up at a 25-degree angle to your body. And then push with your feet so the skin from the neck and shoulders is stretched down your back. And again, lengthen out your lower back. Once you have all of that in place, lengthen your legs out about hip-width apart and let the toes flop and the knees flop. And close your eyes. I'm going to be sitting up now to talk, but I want you to stay in your Shavasana so I can walk you through it. So first of all, just scan your body. The way we did at the beginning, just feel it. And check into the masses and weights and fluids and gases that are making up this organism called us. And let go. Really, really let go and feel the energy just flow out of you. So any residual tension, any residual tightening, any residual contractions, as much as you're able to, let it go. So let the energy drain out of your feet, your calves, your thighs, very heavy, soft legs, bones sinking down. Relax and drain tension and energy out of your hips, your glutes, your stomach, your lower back. Allow that area to just soften and be. Whatever way it is, let it be. Relax your diaphragm and your rib cage and your lungs and heart. Allow that breath and that shape and that sensation to be open and receive the support of gravity. So again, you can really, really let go of any tension. Release your arms. Relax the palms of the hands. Let go of any tension in the hands. There's a tingle when the nerve flow starts to flow unhindered. You want that chi or life force flowing through you. Relax your throat. Relax your jaw. Relax your tongue. Relax your lips. Allow the skin of the cheeks to open and spread. Relax your ear canal and your sinuses inside your head. You can feel the spaciousness that comes in when the tension goes. Relax the eyes and the sockets and the brain, which will both drop down as you release the tension. Allow the skin of the forehead to spread, the temples to widen, and the top of the head to open. And again, there's a gentle tingle in the top of the skull when the chi is flowing smoothly. To open deeply to how much you can let go and still have this delicate consciousness floating and observing, and nothing is happening. You're doing nothing. You're receiving life. You're opening to life. And you're allowing this magical river of blessings come and go out of you as the breath is going in and going out. And that beyond that is the awareness of who you are in this moment in time and how true and magical and mystical this experience truly is. Now start to deepen your breath a little bit. Bring your will and your intention back into the shape and direct it. Wiggle your fingers and your toes to feel them. Feel the dimensions of your body, and in your own time, bend your knees, and with the help of your hands, roll to one side and bring yourselves up to a sitting position the way you were at the beginning of the practice. And as you settle into this shape of sitting, again, find and observe and refine your attention. Who am I now? And what is this experience now? And to finish, let's bring our hands into prayer pose and give thanks for the wisdom and teachings of yoga, and give thanks and honor the inner teacher inside of us. It's always there for guidance and direction when we look inwards and we listen to the truth in our own hearts. And let's ask to stay pure, to stay conscious, to stay sensitive to the magic of life and open to the fact that light is always flowing through every moment. It's always different, it's always unique, and it's always shimmering with opportunity. And within that, there is always the blessing and the grace. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands up to your forehead or third eye. Bring your hands down to your lips for a kiss. Bring your hands back down to your heart and bow your head to your heart. May the mind always be the servant of the heart. And then lift your head and open your eyes. And namaste, everybody. It was a real honor and a pleasure to work with you today. I'm going to come forward and close this down, but I'm staying present. So here we go. Ending the recording.